excited about women's boxing right now. I think it's on the precipice of like, women's boxing has been around before, right? We had Christy Martin, and then we had Layla Ali, and we had
Alicia West was in there. Remember?
Yeah, my girl Kalisha West, and there's been a lot of good women's fighters, right? They have a history.
Yeah.
But it seems like now that
we just needed more.
The sport of boxing is kind of growing more fun. Like the culture of boxing is, I don't know, maybe we as a culture of boxing are slow to adopt like certain ideas or whatever. I don't know. But it seems like they had a rough go at it, and it seems like right now, they're getting slots on Showtime. We saw the first woman fight on HBO. And this is all really good for women fighters because they work really hard, and we want to see them fight, and they're good fights. And if they're good fighters, I want to see them.
Yeah. So we've definitely had like a movement, right, that we see. And so just like very recently, we had the co-main event this last Friday. We've seen Claressa, I think, 3 times with a televised fight. Then HBO had a very good women's fight. Yeah. That they televised as well.
I'll see her again more too. Like I think she's a really good fighter.
So that's like a lot of women's fighting all very close together. Like
we have one of the sister sites of the Sweet Science, which I write for, has a site dedicated to women's boxing that's run by David Avila. By David Avila, and that's all great. Ring Magazine covers women's fights. The BWAA just announced that they're going to start having a pound-for-pound list for women's fighters. To go along with their men's fighters list.
So do you think this is a new like start for women's boxing that could actually like have some sustainability?
Yeah, I really think it is. I think that there's enough people behind it now. There's enough money behind it now. So I was thinking earlier this morning, well, what is this going to end up being? Like, what is the ceiling for this? Is it on par with men's boxing? Probably not. I don't think so. But let's talk about it. Or is it going to be like the WNBA, right? There's WNBA fans out there, and they like basketball, and they like women's basketball. But, like, it's not close as far as...
So let me tell you, like, here's my opinion. I am a woman, and I think that women... I think that all human beings should go out there and, like, if you're good at something, you can do it. Like, I don't care if you're, man or woman. I am not a huge, like... watcher of the WNBA. Here's what I think. I think that watching men play basketball is more enjoyable than watching women play basketball. I just think that it is. So I think that's why the WNBA has become more of a local event.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like how we live in, outside Houston, and there's the Sugar Land Skeeters. So locally, they have a lot of fans. Yeah. As a minor league team. So I feel like the WNBA has that. They probably have really great fans in the cities where they're at. Here's when I watch really good female boxers on TV, I have the same amount of enjoyment as when I'm watching a really good men's fight. So I think that women's boxing can be on par. The only thing that I can't, think about, like, it would be hard for me is that I'm watching as a woman. So for me, I don't really see a difference. Like, I don't have any different feelings inside me. It's kind of same. I could understand if you're a man watching 2 women fight, that might be, you might have maybe some ideas or feelings, and I don't even think that they would, like, come from a bad place. I think that they might be perfectly reasonable. If you're a father, like if you're really paternal, you might have this idea of wanting, like, to protect women and not see them, like, punching each other in the face. And I don't think that comes from a bad place. I think if you're, like, it comes from a good place. So with boxing having more male fans, like, overall, I don't know what that would do for, like, women, how it might affect women's boxing.
Yeah. I think that the women's boxing is definitely capable of becoming more than something like the WNBA. Because I think boxing, the thing about it's a team sport versus like an individual sport. And what we watch in boxing is both a sport, but we also get behind the fighters. We also want to know about their lives. We also want to know about them as human beings. And so I think that there's real opportunity. So I think it's more along the lines of the ceiling for women's boxing is almost limitless, except that I do think that so except that I think that there's going to always be people who just don't want to watch women's boxing because the reasons you described. And so it's never going to be like on par. Like I don't think we're ever going to have a woman fighter making $100 million or whatever, like Pacquiao and Mayweather did. But
well, the other thing is you have to have enough women who are quality like athletes in the sport. And that goes for all sports. And I think there is a smaller pool of quality athletes that are women than men. Yeah. I just think that that's like...
I think the ceiling is like still really high. And if you think about what Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm, who was a boxer, by the way, I'd like to see her come back to boxing, but are able to achieve in the UFC. And then look at what's happening in WWE and wrestling, where you have Charlotte Flair, and you have all these really great women's wrestlers who, when I watch WWE now, like, I want to see Charlotte Flair. Like, I want to see these women compete against each other just as much as I do want to see the men. So I think that, like, women's boxing definitely has a long way to go, but I think that women's boxing needs and has needed a Claressa Shields to be that person that galvanizes the fan base, and I think that she's doing it. I think that people like because she is so real and honest, and she's so full of there's a certain kind of joy that she's full of and happiness that's authentic, and I think that's really easy to like love and want to see. And also, like, flat out, she's a really, really excellent fighter, and that's the most important thing.